Every single day, thousands of sales gurus tell you that the reason that your prospects say, I need to think about it, is because they didn't see the value. But I disagree. In the fitness space, there's something else going on, and believe it or not, it's in your pricing sheet. And I've worked with literally hundreds of gyms on this one thing, and it has a 100% success rate in closing rates going up and prospects picking up the more expensive option more often. And today I'm going to show you how to design your pricing sheet so it becomes an absolute no-brainer for your leads to pick your highest value programs. We're going to do this using a psychological trigger called the Decoy effect, also known as asymmetric dominance. And I'm going to show you real life examples of what not to do and how these very common mistakes are losing sales for gyms every single day. And if one of these, by the way, is your pricing sheets, I'm sorry in advance. And lastly, I'll show you the easiest way to set it up for your fitness studio so you, and more importantly, your team can close better and at higher prices. Your pricing sheet isn't just a list of options. It's a closing tool. And it's the most important tool for getting your team to sell better because this is where most sales are lost. My name is Mike Arce. I own several gyms myself, and through our company at GSD Gyms, we've worked with over 4,400 gyms and fitness studios across 13 countries, 60 franchise brands, and hundreds of independent locations. And none of what I teach is theory. This is all based on stuff that we've tested across enough locations to consider it truth. The stuff I teach works, and the Decoy effect is one I've personally tested with hundreds of locations since 2016. Now, before I jump in, if you want to learn more about how we've helped more fitness studios get to $100,000 per month than probably anybody else on the planet, go to 100kplan.com or click the link in the description. Now, the real reason most fitness studios get the objection, I need to think about it, is because of the way they designed their options. They literally created a pricing sheet where the prospect kind of does need to think about it. To understand this better, I want you to quickly ask yourself, what would make anybody not have to think about it and just take action now? Certainty. That's it. And if there's any lack of certainty, well, they don't feel confident pulling the trigger. Therefore, they think about it. And imagine you're at a restaurant and the waiter comes by to take your order. If you aren't sure yet, what do most people say? Can you just give us a few more minutes? That's another way of saying, I need to think about it. But it's normal to ask for more time at a restaurant, but at a fitness studio with the guy standing there, it's not the same. You're not going to think about it with the sales rep right there. And you're not going to ask them to walk away and come back in a few minutes either. That's just weird. So we say what's normal in the gym setting, which is, can I just take this home and think about it? Or I need to talk to my husband, or fill in the blank with any other objection. So today, I'm going to show you how to design your pricing sheet in a way that creates certainty so that people naturally choose the option that makes the most sense without pressure, without weird sales tactics, and without confusion. Spoiler alert, everything you'll learn today will be summed up with this one lesson. You begin with deciding which product you actually want to sell most, and then everything else in the pricing sheet exists to just make that the only logical option. The mistake that a lot of businesses make is they want to make all options look appealing, hoping that something is at least exciting to everyone, thinking that that'll increase their chances of making a sale, but it actually decreases their chances. And let me show you what I mean. So here are a few bad examples that I've collected from fitness studios that I know are struggling in the closing department, and I've hidden their company name for obvious reasons. First up, so this one here has several areas that we can improve. First, the naming. Most people do it like they did, standard, gold, elite. And when I show you how to do it right, you'll understand that there is a flaw there. Next is the pricing difference between the options. The gap between them makes sense. It's equally more expensive as you go, 200, 300, 400. And I'll show you the flaw in that move as well. And lastly, they've got like 9 options on this one sheet. Think about that restaurant example I gave you earlier. Is it easier to pick what you want faster and with more certainty when there's like a million things on the menu or when there's just a few? Now we're going to give this a 4 out of 10. And the only reason we're not giving it a 2 is because the graphic design is actually pretty well done. The pricing design though, that's what sucks. And next up, you can actually see what this company was trying to do. They centered the gold membership option in the middle, made it slightly larger, clearly wanted that to be the featured option. And they also attempted to do this like weird thing with price anchoring by putting the most expensive option all the way to the left, hoping that it'll make the $90 option when they get to it look more affordable. But the biggest issue with this pricing sheet is it's just too hard to compare the value of all the options quickly. And that matters because this isn't a website where somebody's just like sitting at home studying pricing for 20 minutes. This is happening live with a sales rep standing right in front of them. So in that moment, people need clarity fast, but instead the customer has to stop and think, wait, which of these include personal training? And how many classes do I get with this one? And why is platinum worth $30 more? What's actually the best value here? That's too much mental work during the sales conversation. And anytime your pricing sheet forces people to analyze too much, certainty drops because a confused mind doesn't buy. And they also added a bunch of other stuff on here that distracts from the main point. A free week trial, a refer a friend. They got a QR code in here, stuff that just doesn't have to be on this sheet. And it's distracting and it hurts the prospect's ability to think fast. So for this one, they'll get a 5 out of 10 because they at least attempted to use psychology. They just didn't do it well. All right, I'll quickly do 2 more and then we'll get to how to do it right. Now, this pricing sheet actually looks very clean and premium at first glance. And honestly, I can see exactly what they were trying to do. They wanted simplicity and minimalism, a luxury aesthetic. And visually, they did accomplish that. But psychologically, this pricing sheet completely falls apart during a live sales conversation because now the customer has to do math in their head just to figure out value. So let's see, $450 for 10 classes. Well, maybe that's easy enough. That's like $45 a class. $250 for 5 classes. And then you got 3 classes for $135, $800 for 20. Most people are not doing all of that math in real time standing in front of a sales rep. And honestly, your staff probably wouldn't instantly know where the best value is either without sitting down with a calculator. So instead of instantly seeing, oh, this clearly looks like the best value for me, the customer gets stuck analyzing. And that's where, can I take this home and think about it, start showing up? Because great pricing sheets don't just look beautiful, they make the decision feel easy. So this company gets a 3 out of 10 because so far, this is the one that would be most likely to send people home to think about it. That's just way too much math. Last example, and this one's a doozy. This pricing sheet is an absolute disaster for sales. And the crazy part is I could tell they probably thought they were being more professional by adding all of this information, but this isn't a pricing sheet anymore. It's a spreadsheet. It's a restaurant menu. Look at this thing. You got private sessions, duet sessions, owner sessions, 30-minute sessions, in-home sessions, group reservations, welcome packages, package plus, expiration dates everywhere. A customer standing in front of a sales rep has no idea where to even begin. And the worst part, this pricing sheet turns the sales process into homework. Now the prospect has to calculate, wait, which package is actually the best deal? What expires when here? Which option should I even be comparing? That's mental exhaustion. And mentally exhausted people do not buy. They say, can I take this home with me and think about it? And then they don't ever come back. So 1 out of 10. I'm not even going to waste more time on this one. Now, before I build this out with you the right way, I want to show you an example outside of fitness so you can see what this actually looks like in real life. Because I've fallen for this at least twice that I can remember. Even though I teach this psychology, I've fallen for it twice. Once I was at Central Park with the video crew that I used at the time, and I was doing intermittent fasting, and it was about time to eat. It was like 11 o'clock. And there was a food truck that was selling green drinks. And at the time, I broke my fast every morning with a green drink, and it was always 12 ounces. That's typically all I had. The options at this food truck were you could do 8 ounces, 12 ounces, or 20 ounces. Perfect. They had the one I wanted. And look, I don't love green juice. I just did it for the nutrients. So 12 ounces was really all about I ever wanted anyway. More than that sounded gross. The pricing was $6, $8, or $9. Now I looked at that and I thought, well, it's just $1 more, even though I knew I was not going to drink 20 ounces of green juice. I bought it anyway. I knew exactly what they were doing too as I handed over my money. I knew they were decoying me. And it worked. It's $1. I'd rather have it than not. What if I loved it? And it happened again about 4 or 5 months later. I was on a 5-hour flight from New York, and I knew that I wanted to get some work done, but I also wanted to get some reading done. So realistically, I was figuring I'd work maybe 2 hours on the plane on my laptop tops. So the Wi-Fi options were 1 hour, 2 hour, or unlimited, meaning the full duration of the flight. And the pricing was $13, $17, or $18 for unlimited, the entire flight at the fastest speed. Now I knew I wasn't going to work the whole flight. I knew it. But for $1 more than just the 2-hour option, it was hard to say no to the unlimited. What if I did want to work a little bit more? Now here's the thing. If it was just the 1 hour or just the unlimited option that I could choose from that was sitting there, I might have talked myself out of it. Do I really need Wi-Fi? Can I just read? But because of that $17 option sitting right in the middle, all I could focus on was the difference between that and the $18 option. And it was $1. It was a no-brainer. And that's exactly what we're going to do with your pricing sheet. So it all begins with first knowing which one do you want to sell. So pull out your pricing sheet now, take a look at your options, pick your favorite 3. If you have 9, we already know we've got work to do on that alone. But pick your favorite 3 and say, okay, of these 3, which one do I want to sell? If there was one option here that the next 100 people would buy, which option would I want them to buy? Whatever that is, that's the option that we're focusing on. And everything else that we build around it has one goal, to make that one look like the no-brainer. That's it. So let's say for you, and this may not be you, just hypothetical, you play with whatever numbers are right for you. Let's say for you, it was your unlimited option that you currently sell for, let's say, $199. Okay? So now that's the one we know we've got. And you know that you have, let's say, a 2-time-a-week option, and you've got a 1-time-a-week option as well. Okay? So these are the ones that you've got. Now, what a lot of people do is they just kind of start from left to right, but you don't. You want to start with the one you want to sell. So I already know, okay, I want to sell this one. This is the one. So from here, what we have to do is focus on this middle option. This is the actual decoy. Without this, you're going to have like 50-50 people choosing this one or this one. But this one is the one that makes everybody choose the higher, most expensive option. Just like the Wi-Fi did for me and the green drink, okay? I'd even look at the first options, and nobody ever does. That's the beauty of that. Okay, so we look at this and we say, all right, I need this to be so close that it's kind of ridiculous. Now, sometimes business owners are a little chicken. They're afraid to be a little ridiculous because they are afraid of not making sense or looking dumb more than they are about making the sale. So I'm going to show you a price right now, and you're going to be like, that looks stupid. Yeah, it will. But that's what's going to make people feel like they need to buy. So this option, you would make it something like $194 a month. Now you're going to be like, well, why not $189? That's also still pretty close. It's only $10 more. I know, but it's not ridiculous. This is like $5. A $5 bill, like you can't get much with a $5 bill anymore. Like you can't even get a Subway sandwich anymore. Those days are over. So it's just $5 more, right? It's a rounding error. So from here, then we pick this option, and it doesn't really matter what you pick. Just make sure it's stretched away. And I would say something like a $119 a month is a good price for this, okay? So you got $119, $194, $199. Now we're not done yet. The next thing that we have to focus on before we come up with the deliverables, which I'm going to show you how to do it so people can think and see it fast. What you're going to notice between this and the pricing sheets that I gave you is here you have to like dart your eyes all over the place in order to determine value. Here, you're going to be able to look at it, and within 2 seconds, you're going to go, that one, and you're going to point to this option right here, okay? So the next thing that you have to do is you have to come up with the name for your option. So let's take the white. Now, what a lot of people make the mistake, I showed you an example earlier, is they go like silver, gold, platinum, or basic, advanced, master, like whatever. They just have this like ascending naming convention. But what you actually want to do is have these two very similarly named with the exception of one little thing. I'll show you what I mean. So let's say we went with gold, platinum, and you guys can use whatever you'd like. But then here's the trick. Platinum plus. You could do Platinum Pro, you could do Platinum VIP, whatever, it doesn't matter, but just a little symbol. Now what happens is because these two names are so close together, the brain isolates and needs to know what is it about that plus? What is the difference? Because they both seem like good options, but there's something about the plus. iPhone does it. They did it with the 4S. I think that's where it began. And then they went to like the Pro, and then they got the Max. And it's like the same numbers, iPhone 16 Max, right? Tesla did it with the Ludicrous, and they had the Ludicrous Plus. You see this every day. You just never thought to question it. But naming the option that you want to buy the same as the option that's used as the decoy with a slight symbol adjustment, is what makes the brain isolate on these two and also completely ignore this one. So great. Just by doing that, we've done this. Now, what you're noticing, hopefully, is that we're not just making it similar in name, but the pricing is so similar. So, and that's what we want. We want people to look and see like, they look close, but, and then they notice a difference. And that's what we're going to get to now. Okay, the next thing that we've got to jump into is the offering. So what comes with it? Now, the big mistake a lot of people are making in the pricing sheet, and pretty much every pricing sheet I feel like I see, is they like write it all in here. They write it all in here, and they write it all in here. And then what happens is I have to like read it, and it takes too long. We need to be fast. So what you actually do is you write the things on the left and then use check marks. So for example, let's say this right here is your sessions per week as an example, right? So we got that. Perfect. Now you might say this one, I'll put body fat percentage testing. And then we'll go metabolism assessment. And if you guys have like an in-body, you guys know like this is all part of it. Meal planning. And keep in mind, whatever you do in your business, like think of all the things that your members get. You might just include it all, break it up. Everything that they can get, just break it up. If they get a private consult when they first join, add that in there, right? Metabolism boost program. So this is like something you could easily make with AI now, especially a program that helps people learn how to boost metabolism naturally at home. And then you can call it, what I like doing is calling this the name of the program, Platinum Plus Gear. So this is like, if you're a yoga studio, this could be like a yoga mat and the block and a towel. If you're a Pilates studio, it's the socks, it's the towel. If you're a cycle, it's the shoes, it's the bag. Boxing or kickboxing, it's the gloves, it's the wraps, right? So everybody's got something they can put in here. So now what we do is we go, okay, well, these are the different things. And we go, okay, well, this first one, by the way, one other thing that you want to do is you want to help them see the value by having something highlighted a little bit more. So let's say we have green over there, okay? So body fat testing, let's say they all come with body fat testing. But then from here, metabolism assessment, nope, 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 nope. But on the platinum one, this one comes with that, and this one comes with that. But for the rest, no, no, no. And guess what? Yep, you probably guessed it. Yes, yes, yes. So now you got, this one comes with everything, and it's just $5 more. Now, right here as it is, you could sell this the way that it is right now. But there's even more that you can do to make this even more powerful. What you could also do is you can add a line at the bottom, and you call this commitment. Now for the commitment, you could say this one here has a 3-month commitment. This one has a 6-month commitment. And this one has a 12-month commitment. Stay with me because this is going to be amazing. And then you could also have enrollment fee. And you don't have to do these last two, but like it just adds power. That's all it does. You can close just fine everything above, but this just adds power. So enrollment fee, you could do, let's say, this is one of the more popular ones with our group, $99, $199, $299, which that means is when you first sign up, you have to pay your first month plus whatever your enrollment fee is. Now what you do is you say, oh, and by the way, we're having a promo right now, or we're doing a promo where you can get the unlimited option for the same base commitment as the gold, as well as the same enrollment fee as the gold. Or if you really want to make it a no-brainer, you could say with 0 enrollment fee, whichever one you want. Now, if you do the 0 enrollment fee, what they'll do, the math is, wow, it's actually cheaper today to start this one than it is to start this one, because $100 plus $119, I'm already spending $220. But over here, I'm just spending $200. This is actually the cheaper one to start. And look at all the stuff I get for just $5 more. And look at the deal. People are very loss averse, meaning they don't want to miss out on a good deal. And so knowing that instead of having to get this program and have to commit to 12 months like everybody else would normally, they get to only have a 3-month, which is great. And now they can come in with no enrollment. So now what happens is you would have your salespeople, instead of having to explain everything, which by the way, never do. This is a big rule I want you guys to know. Never talk through it because you're not listening anyway. We're going to go through that a little bit deeper. But what you want your salespeople to do is they have their pricing sheet that looks like this right here. And you want them to just say, all right, so Sally, we have a couple promos going right now, specifically on the platinum option. We currently have the monthly, just go to the 3-month. So only a 3-month commitment for the monthly. And then also for the enrollment, it's 0. So out of these options, which one of these stands out to you the most? And then what they look at is this. Now, looking at this here, if this is you, how quick is it for you to determine the value? I mean, you don't have to read a bunch. Checkmarks are easy, and they're even color-coded, so it's very easy to see. Wow, look at everything that this one comes with. I get it. There's nothing that this one comes with that this one doesn't, and vice versa. They all either come with this one or some version of it, right? Something less. So very, very easy to see. Now, what I want you to understand is there's some rules here. So you want to write these down. Rule number 1, no more than 3 options on a pricing sheet. I get it. You might have like packs and other things too. Keep those on a separate sheet. The only sheet that you're handing them first is the one with the options that you believe they're most likely to buy or the ones that you actually want to sell. And here's why 3. Too many options and people like freeze. And frozen people say, I need to think about it, which isn't really, I need to think about it. It's, I got overwhelmed and I don't want to admit that. 3 options, give them enough to feel like they have a choice without giving them enough to feel lost. And if they aren't confident with anything on the first sheet, that's when you could pull out the downsell sheet with the packs for people who want to start smaller. Rule number 2, people read left to right. So your pricing sheet needs to be built that way, not top down. This isn't Japan. Your lowest option goes on the left and your decoy goes in the middle. And the option that you actually want them to buy goes on the right. Here's why. When someone scans your sheet left to right, they're building a mental comparison as they go. By the time they hit the option on the right, the decoy in the middle has already done its job. It makes your best option look like the obvious choice. Not too much of a jump from the middle, but clearly the better value. And that's the whole game. You're not just listing prices. You're engineering a decision before they even ask a question. So if your best membership isn't on the right, your sheet is working against you. Rule number 3, people don't think about how often they work out per month. Nobody wakes up and says, I want to work out 13 times this month. They think in weeks when it comes to working out. I want to work out 3 times a week. I want to work out 2 times per week. That's how real people talk about this. So when your pricing sheet says 4 sessions per month or 8 sessions per month or whatever the monthly math spits out, you're making them do a conversion in their head that they didn't sign up for. And remember, more than 1 in 3 adults struggle with basic math. You're literally creating friction at the worst possible moment. I know why studios do it this way. The math is cleaner on your end. 4.33 weeks in a month makes weekly packaging annoying to calculate. I get it. But your pricing sheet isn't for you. It's for the person sitting across from you who's wanting to decide if this fits their life. Show them weekly sessions, how they think, keep it in the frame that they already live in. Make it easy for them to say yes. Rule number 4, class packs don't go on your main pricing sheet, period. I know why you put them there. They're a lower price point. They feel less intimidating. And you think it gives people an easy entry point. But what you're actually doing is giving someone who is ready to commit a reason not to. Think about it. If someone sees a membership next to a class pack, some of them are going to pick the class pack just because it's cheaper and it's less intimidating. Not because it's the right fit, but because you handed them an exit and they took it. Class packs are a downsell. That's it. They exist for the person who has seen your best options and still won't commit. You pull that sheet out after the first sheet didn't close, not before. So you lead with memberships always. And then the class pass sheet stays in your back pocket until you actually need it. Rule number 5, make the math easy. If they can't look at your sheet and see where the real value is in under like 3 or 4 seconds, your sheet is wrong. Not them, you. Rule number 6, Stop talking when you hand them the sheet. They're not listening to you anyway. The second that that sheet hits their hands, their eyes are on it and you're just background noise. So if you're going to talk them through stuff and be like, so if you look here, you can get this option for here, and then this one comes with this, and blah, 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 blah. Anything you say right now is just going to distract them from the decision that you actually want them to make. So just hand it over, shut up, and let it work. Look, your pricing sheet is either closing for you or against you. There is no middle ground. And the good news is everything I just showed you is fixable. Most of it you can change this week, probably today. Now, here's something you can do right now that a lot of gym owners haven't even thought of yet. You can use AI to help you build this whole thing out. Pull up Claude or ChatGPT or whatever tool you use and just tell it you want to design your pricing sheet using the Decoy effect for your fitness studio. Have Claude interview you to get the content, then have Claude create a prompt for ChatGPT to design the sheet, plug that prompt into chat, and then boom, done. Now, fair warning, ChatGPT has got a hit or miss with a design like this. Claude design is better, but there's a bit of a learning curve to Claude design. At GSD Gyms, pricing strategy is one of the things we go deep on with the studios we work with, because a better pricing sheet means your team, not you, but your team closes more, they close at higher prices, and they do it without pressure or weird sales tactics. And if you do ever want to learn more about what we do and how we help fitness studios grow, go to 100kplan.com. But whatever you do, get something like this implemented. Use psychology in your pricing. When you do it right, you'll feel the difference within your first week.